Friends, welcome to video 30 in our series Principles of Equity Investing. I hope you and your family are all well and safe. Take care of yourselves. Friends, in this video, I'm going to talk about something which is very popular, what is called as averaging strategy. So, in this video, I'm going to deal with which are the circumstances when it works and when it is not likely to work and what is the risk involved. So let's talk about the various ways in which investing is done through averaging. Let's talk about that on the next slide. Usually in the popular domain, averaging is talked about in three contexts or in three ways. One of the very widely promoted idea is that of rupee cost averaging, and that is particularly promoted through systematic investment plan. The systematic investment plan simply means that every month you keep on investing a certain amount in a mutual fund, and typically therefore SIP is an idea which is promoted actively by mutual fund industry. But now we find that share brokers have also replicated that, and they tell their clients that every month you invest a certain amount in a share that you like, and then over a period this amount will grow. So of course, I'm not right now getting into the merits of this strategy, but this is where every month you keep on investing irrespective of whether the market is high or low, and you will get an advantage of an average. That's the approach of the rupee cost averaging through SIP. Of course, in the link in the description section, I have also provided a video link to my SIP related video, which you may like to explore. And personally, I do not recommend this strategy. Right now, I'll not preempt that discussion. I would rather leave it to you to look at that video if you're interested. But the principle here is whether the price is high or low, you keep on investing, and therefore over a long period, you will get a price which is somewhere in between, which is the average. The second strategy is a simple strategy to lower the average. So what do I mean by lowering the average? And of course, I'm going to take an example to elaborate this. But very quickly, suppose you have invested the share in a share at rupees 1000 rupees per piece. Unfortunately, the price has come down to 700 rupees. Now, what you do is you again buy at 700, and now the average becomes the average of these two, which is 1000 and 700. So the average becomes 850. Now, one advantage of doing this averaging, which I'm going to talk about a little later anyway, is that you kind of try and reduce, at least in your own mind, the damage which has already happened. Of course, we'll look at whether that is the right approach or wrong approach in the following slides. But that's the idea for now. Second method is a more complex method where you don't reinvest again the same quantity, but what rather you do is you keep on increasing your quantity as the price falls. And this is like a pyramidic structure. You can imagine a pyramid where the upper part of the pyramid is very narrow, but it becomes very broad based as you go down, and that's the logic which is used here. Unlike in the simple strategy where you keep on investing the same quantity at a lower and lower price, here you keep on expanding the quantity as the price becomes lower. And of course, we are going to look at the merits and demerits of this strategy with an example. The objective of the last two is to reduce the perceived loss. Now, what is this perceived loss? So suppose, for example, you had invested in a particular share when the price was 1000 rupees and the price has fallen to 700, then you find that the gap between 1000 and 700 is quite big to fill. Now, when you do an averaging, when you have bought again at 700, the average suddenly becomes 850. When it becomes 850, 1000 plus 700 divided by 2, average becomes 850. Now 850 from 700 starts looking more achievable, and therefore the perceived loss in our mind actually seem to go down. But is it really happening that way? We'll see with that example. And therefore we will look at various examples of the simple strategy as well as pyramid strategy to examine when that averaging works and when that averaging is not likely to work, and therefore what care we should take. And that's the important piece of this video. So let's first deal with rupee cost averaging through SIP. One of the biggest advantages is no need to apply mind. It is something which you can keep on doing mechanically every month, and overall you will be somewhere in the middle. Neither will you be getting the lowest price, neither will you be suffering from the highest price, but somewhere it will be in the middle, and that's how you don't have to worry about applying your mind. You keep on doing it mechanically. What is the disadvantage? Not applying mind is risky. In fact, one of the most important principles of investing is application of mind. Investing is always with application of mind. Now, SIP as a method actually breaches that very principle. And there are many other disadvantages too, or sometimes wrong claims which are made in support of SIP are not actually appropriate. And in the description section of this video, I will provide a link to my video about SIP myths and reality, and I would request you to have a look at it, because this is a concept which has been popularized, but the assumptions behind this idea and the reason why it is propagated, we should all be clear about it, and that's why I'm requesting you to look at that video also. So one of the most important assumptions behind SIP, and which works in a developing economy like India, because the population is growing, the demands are growing, the consumption averages in India are far lower than global averages, so there is always this opportunity of catching up, and therefore the Indian economy is continuing to grow, and therefore the stock market will also going to go up, and therefore even if you actually keep on investing at highs and lows, it really doesn't matter, because over a period the high is going to become even higher. That's the basic assumption, but it is not explicitly stated when SIP is actively promoted. SIP will be extremely dangerous in markets which are either extremely volatile or mature economies where say the population has started degrowing and population has begun aging and all those kinds of challenges, and in those circumstances the whole assumption of SIP could go for a toss. So therefore we need to be very careful about this assumption. Secondly, most people don't have tools to find out real return, so there is a bit of an information asymmetry. So if we were to actually find out, plot every month's investment and plug the NAV at a later date and find out the real return for some of the investments may not look very exciting. Now, of course, I have created another video, which again I'll provide a link, where you can actually use and download an Excel file for populating your own investments and then actually making an assessment whether the returns have been good or bad. So that again video I'll request you to explore. But because people don't know about this, over a period people are generally happy that my overall cost or average cost was so and so, but the last price is much better than the average cost. But people are not aware about the real return, and once you become aware about the real return, I'm sure nobody would like to go for an SIP route. They would rather look for timing the market and maximizing the return. So that is something I request you to explore further. So as I mentioned, I'll provide a link in the description about both the SIP related video as well as a video for arriving at your own real return. Let us now look at an example of a simple strategy to lower the average. So let us say the first purchase happened at 1000 rupees and a quantity of 25 shares was bought. Now the price comes down to 800 rupees. So the simple strategy of averaging would say that, let's buy another 25 quantity, average cost now becomes 900. How 900? 1000 plus 800 divided by 2. Now unfortunately the price comes down further. Now it is at 600 rupees. Again we buy another quantity of 25. Now the average cost will become 800. So we can see 1000 plus 800 plus 600 divided by 3. That will give us the average cost of 800 rupees. And how much is our total investment? 60,000 rupees. How? First time 1000 price, 25 quantity, 800 price, 25 quantity, 600 price, 25 quantity. So the investment is 25, 20 and 15,000 rupees. So now for us to make money in this method, the price will have to move to at least 800. Now if you are confident and if you have conviction in your investing, then by all means you can deploy this strategy because you are taking advantage of a lower and lower price and it is becoming a better and better value. So if you are doing it for that reason, nothing like it. And if your conviction plays out true and the stock price goes beyond 800, then you already achieved a break even. You didn't have to wait up to 1000. So that's an advantage of the simple strategy to lower the average. However, if the price gets stuck to rupees 650, remember your average is 800. So 800 minus 650, which is 150 rupees a share, multiplied by the quantity of 75. So 11,250 will be your mark-to-market loss or a notional loss. It will become actual loss only if you sell. But if it remains stuck at 650 for a long time, you're also losing an opportunity to invest that money somewhere else. So as I was talking about in the previous slide, your real return will come down even if the price crosses 800 because the time that it has taken. So that's another dimension. Unfortunately, if the price goes down to 500, then the loss will become bigger of 22,500 on an investment of rupees 60,000. So therefore, one of the things that we have to be always aware about is that when we keep on averaging, the fundamentals of the company should not for any reason be turning to the negative. Either it may be because of some essential challenges to its own business model or because there is some major competition which has emerged or because of digitization of business, their own business model is completely shaken. Now, if those are the reasons, this simple strategy to lower the average can become very risky and we should stay away from it. Now, let us look at a pyramidal structure. Let us now look at a pyramidal strategy. So let us say, as in the previous example, first purchase was 1000 rupees price, quantity 25. Now when price comes down to say 800 rupees, unlike in the previous example where the quantity was kept the same, here we expand the quantity. So quantity now becomes 50. Now what happens is the average cost, if you were to take a calculator and calculate, the average cost is no longer 900 rupees. It is 866.67 because the larger weightage is now for price 800 rather than price 1000. Now let us say that the price comes down further to 600 rupees. Then the quantity is expanded to 100. Now the average cost comes down to 714.29. In the previous example, it was 800 rupees. So we have brought down the average cost even further. But in the process, what has happened? The investment has become much larger. 25,000, 40,000, 60,000. That becomes much bigger investment now. So your stakes are very high in the pyramidal strategy. But the advantage is price has come down to 714.29 in terms of average price or average cost. And if you are able to reach this price, you can break even. So that is the advantage in this pyramidal strategy. If the price gets stuck at 650 rupees, there would be a notional loss of 11,250 plus your capital will remain blocked for a much longer period of time as compared to the simple strategy. Now, if the price goes down to 500, the loss will become even bigger than the simple strategy because obviously you have invested a larger amount and there is a loss at every stage. So we need to be careful about this strategy, particularly to check whether our conviction about this particular share is very high or not. If your conviction is very high and you think that it's just a matter of time and the stock will turn around, then pyramidal strategy can be a great strategy. So we need to know the pluses and minuses. So which strategy is better? As I mentioned, if you're convinced about value of the stock, pyramidal structure is not a problem. Then you are actually using an opportunity to buy at lower and lower price and you are taking advantage of the fall in the market. However, the risk is low can become lower And if there is a permanent damage in fundamentals, the pyramidic strategy is very risky as larger capital gets involved, loss becomes bigger, and by the time we are able to recover the capital, it may take a much longer time. And we are all aware that time value is very important. Not recovering just the amount is sufficient. The time value becomes a major problem. That if you are able to recover this back after 3 years, well, a lot of time value damage has already happened. So my suggestion is, do not get into this averaging mindset. You buy because you're convinced of value, and then you take into account your other factors, such as you have to check whether you have sufficient capital. It is not resulting into a significant concentration of risk in only in one stock. So you're not putting too much of amount into one stock that will create a bigger risk. So those factors become very important rather than the obsession with average. So this is how I would like to conclude this discussion. So friends, if you have liked this video, do press the like button, subscribe the channel, comment, of course, positively, and if you have any suggestions, of course, those also you should give, or I also would like to stand to correction. If you think that you have a different view, please share that also, and do suggest topics which I can take up for your videos. Thank you very much for your kind attention.